Welcome everyone, I'm Giles Fox, and today we're going to learn about critical thinking. First, we'll learn why critical thinking today seems to be on a downhill spiral based on 5 research findings. Then we'll go right into the meat of the subject with the definition and 7 core critical thinking skills. And finally, we'll learn 9 strategies for development of critical thinking. First, national assessments have shown that our students can perform basic skills like computation, but they can't reason or prepare arguments, something that's vital in today's job world. Secondly, textbooks tend to simply provide information and ask questions that only require students to recall information. These questions don't require critical thinking. Most teachers teach for content or exposure, but not necessarily comprehension. Teachers often tend to avoid types of work or activities that require critical thinking skills. And finally, teachers commonly teach how they were taught. This creates a vicious circle that stifles the advancement of critical thinking today. A definition given by Michael Scriven and Richard Paul in 1987, critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and/or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief or action. This is the common critical thinking process right here. And 7 critical thinking skills. First, observation. This is a careful examination with the purpose of gathering information. Next, interpretation. How we understand something's particular meaning or significance. Analysis. Identification and measurement of the elements or structure of the problem. An inference is a logical step of the mind, the conclusion that something is true in light of something else being true. Note that this is different than an assumption. Evaluation, an assessment or judgment of something. Explanations, a clarifying reason or justification for an action or belief. And finally, metacognition is the awareness of one's own thought processes. Nine strategies for critical thinking development begin with utilizing our wasted time. Instead of sitting in front of the TV at the end of the day, reflect on your day. Ask yourself, did I do anything to further my long-term goals? Did I let myself think negatively today? Did I act according to my values and beliefs? Also, meet 1 problem per day. Choose a problem at the start of the day to work on during your free time and finish it by the end of the day, one way or another. Internalize the intellectual standards. Focus weekly on one of the universal intellectual standards listed here and practice it. Keep an intellectual journal. Detail various situations, your responses to those situations, as well as an analysis and an assessment. Transform our character. We need to focus on developing a different intellectual trait each month. The intellectual traits are listed here. Shed the ego. Become aware of our egocentric thinking and work to discard it. Redefine perspective. Practice seeing the good and bad in situations, viewing failures as learning opportunities and dead ends as new beginnings. Reconnect with emotions. Become aware of how our thoughts determine our emotions. Develop command over this process. And finally, examine our group influences. Analyze the level of conformity in your groups. Determine how to respond to this peer pressure by either rejecting it or accepting it. And here are my resources, content resources, as well as my image resources. Thank you.